6 o'clock, I'd like to call the meeting to order. If I could have a roll, please, Zach.
Mr. Kelso?
Here.
Bartholomew?
Here.
Butterfield is absent. Hambeck?
Here.
Jones?
Here.
Spar?
Here.
And Warren?
Here. Thank you. Everybody's had a chance to look at the minutes from the October 24th, 2022 meeting. Have any amendments? If not, do I hear a motion for approval?
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we approve the minutes.
I'll second that.
Okay, before our first case, I'm going to have...
We need a call vote.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? None?
Been a while, I'm a little rusty.
Yeah.
Before we start, council's going to read a short deal on what the zoning board is about.
Thank you. Tonight before the Zoning Board of Appeals is a public hearing, which is being held pursuant to published notice. At the public hearing, any person wishing to address the zoning board will be afforded the opportunity to do so. They'll give testimony under an oath that I administer. At the conclusion of the public hearing, the Zoning Board of Appeals will make its determination. The purpose of the public hearing is to afford the zoning board the opportunity to hear and receive testimony regarding whether, in the particular case at issue, the facts support the findings required in the village code for a variance to be issued. Those findings include a requirement that for the zoning board to award a variation, it must find that there are some particular physical surroundings, shape, or topographical conditions of the property at issue which would result in a particular hardship to the owner as distinguished from a mere inconvenience if the letter of the regulations were carried out. That those conditions must be unique to the property for which the variance is sought and not applicable generally to other property within the same zoning classification. The zoning board must also find that the purpose of variation is not based exclusively on a desire for financial gain, that no person with a present interest in the property has created the difficulty or hardship, that the granting of the variation will not be detrimental to the public welfare or injurious to other property or improvements in the neighborhood in which the property is located, and that the proposed variation will not impair an adequate supply of light and air to adjacent properties, substantially increase traffic congestion, increase danger of fire, public safety, or substantially diminish or impair property values in the neighborhood. At the conclusion of the public hearing, the Zoning Board of Appeals will make its determination. A majority of the board must vote yes in order for the variation to be awarded.
Thank you. So we'll go with our first case, number 24-01. A variance has been requested for the property located at 5 Blueberry Court. The petitioner seeks a variance from section 10-5-3 of the Village Morton Municipality Code in relation to the property's rear yard setback. Mark, could you, if both you're going to speak, we'll just do one at a time. Mark, could you just stand up? Pat will swear you in.
You raise your right hand and repeat after me. Okay. I solemnly affirm that the testimony I will give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, just approach the podium and just state your name and address, and then you can start your presentation.
My name is Mark Hare. Do you want the business address or my home address? Matter?
Doesn't matter.
My home address is 8 Olivia Court, Metamora, Illinois. I'm a home builder with Don Hare & Sons. We design and build, and so I'm here representing the Zerns for their house at 5 Blueberry Court. And I've got some drawings to show. I guess, and was asked, I think we're to keep this within 5 minutes, so I'll try to go quickly if I can. Right? Request, but and all of this was in the literature that you were given, I think. But the house.
Can I interrupt you, sir? You're not limited to a 5-minute time
Yeah.
period.
Oh, okay. It was in the original thing, but I'll
Oh, no, you can.
Okay.
We got some time tonight.
Okay. The house was built in 1982, as probably everyone's aware, and it was an era when rooms were boxy, for lack of a better word. We were coming out of an era, the 80s started changing, or the 70s really started changing this, where the room, and it's done extremely well. Jack Schmickel had built the house, done extremely well, and so, but the rooms are relatively small and each enclosed. They open to each other, obviously, but there was no large gathering space like the great rooms that we do today. So they approached us to try to get a place as their family grows. Where can we need something to be able to have a nice big room like we're doing in new houses all the time. The property is difficult, so the hardships are, in this case, as you're aware, there's a ravine on the left side. The garage was put on the left side, and when the house was built, the way it was designed, it could have been designed differently, admittedly, but it wasn't. The garage depth sets the house back very far. They've got a circle drive, which eats up more space than most houses to the front. Also, the public rooms, living room, eating room, or eating breakfast area, kitchen, were all to the west side of the house. So you're not going to want to connect a family room to a garage or to a laundry room. So just looking at floor plan logic, the ravine, and the other thing is we have two cul-de-sacs, two fairly short cul-de-sacs meeting each other, which automatically creates trapezoidal lots. So we're dealing with a property line that runs on an angle at the back. We tried all kinds of tricks and actually trimmed the house already, a little bit smaller than what Carrie would like, to bring it in as tight as we can, and we're just as tight as we can go. It puts us, as you're aware, it's about 14.4 in overall influence, but of that, the deepest point is 2'2", where a corner sticks out. Then it diminishes and at one point we're actually at setback, and then it's back in for about a foot. So it's an irregular, slight breach. Yes, you could say, could you bring it in that much since it's not much? The problem is, I don't know if this is a hardship, but it's a fact that plays into this. Carrie did some furniture layouts, and when we pull it in that 2 feet, it just doesn't work with the people they want to accommodate in the room. So I finally trimmed it as tight as I could and told the Zerns that we're going to have to get a variance to see if we can do this. So that's what brings us here today, is those issues, and I'd be glad to show you some drawings and what we're doing. I think you've got small versions of this in your packets, but I've got a bigger one, and I'd be happy to bring it up front if you'd like to see it more closely, if that would be helpful.
Are we looking at just the rear setback and a side setback, or just rear?
Just rear.
Just the rear. Okay.
I don't know, whatever you call that weird. I mean,
yeah.
I'm not sure what's weird or what's rear and what's side, but
yeah.
It's that
yeah.
line. Yeah, we're in every place else. It's just that one.
My feeling, and you guys do great work, and I think you could probably move this thing what it needs to be, and I don't think Carrie will know the difference if you don't tell her the distance. I mean, that's how I feel. If we can make it, I know you must have shortened it a little bit.
Can I bring this up there?
Yeah, you can show us. Yeah. Yeah.
Here's we're talking right now. We're planning. So yeah, right here we're over at 2'2" at this corner. So in order to really gain, this whole thing needs to be compressed by 2'2", which is fair. I didn't bring a furniture layout because I didn't think you guys would even care about it.
Yeah.
But it's a fact. We can get volume, but if this becomes an architectural thing. There needs to be a relationship between width and length in a room, and height actually. And it's going to be a long skinny tube, and she just couldn't get. She tried a couple different layouts, and it just. We also, just so you all know, we also said, can we shove it sideways? Well, these rooms, there's one here that connects and one here that connects. We wanted symmetry when it connects on the inside. And there's a kitchen window here that's already reached quite a bit of view. It would totally bury the kitchen. And so we said, at this point, let's get as tight as we can and then ask. I've got some others to show it. That's a site plan. This is showing that, you probably can't see it there, but that corner comes through here. So if this little chunk sticks out, it touches, it's out to zero here, and then this little chunk of the fireplace. We even compressed the fireplace more than normal, but it's a direct vent fireplace. I didn't need a big chimney box. I couldn't get by with none. It was certainly down, so I brought it in as tight as I can. I'm still out on 16 inches beyond the back, and it's just a wall. This is what it will look like. We didn't spend any time on landscaping, but we wanted the structure to see against the house, and there's windows that we didn't worry about. But just to show, we're trying to match everything brick and as closely as possible. The brick's no longer made, but you may have seen they did out front, they did a brick wall recently.
Yeah.
That brick is the closest match we can get probably anywhere in the country to the original house. And so we're going to use that same brick on the house, which is a good match compared to. We're also going to have siding in here. We just showed the shadow. There's a window in there, front by side, so that the brick will not touch the house. That's just, I don't like when you don't get a perfect match, so that gives us a separate. Probably has nothing to do with it, just so you know what we're architecturally.
Is there a fence that goes behind your property? It seemed like there was. Does it go all the way back, or?
It would start, because I went to the back neighbors and looked, and they actually have, the people that live right next to the Zerns, but they have the cool Melees, have a tall stand of arborvitae that runs partway. I don't think there's a fence there, or it is, it's iron, steel or something. And then it becomes a wood fence, which I can't tell from Zern's side, but I could from the others, that fence is leaning. So Dave and Terry said they would rather have a green screen anyway. So I believe they talked to the neighbors, and the idea would be, they could have a fence or no, which would be kind of hidden. They'd like to keep the green screen going, which I think is a very good idea. So it'll be a solid screen for everybody. We also see this as a plus. It's going to give them a buffer. All of the Zerns living, I should get back to the all of the Zerns living, the way we oriented this room is out to the side, to the ravine. So what they're presenting here is it's a gable, which one of the reasons we did it this way. This gable faces the Haines, the people behind. So they're not looking at a broad roof, they're looking at a gable, which diminishes, so it's not quite so in your face, because it's fading. And the windows are just transom windows that are up inside the cabinet. So right now, when they took me upstairs, Dave and Terry did it, so look up here, we can look right down into those kids' bedroom windows right now. The idea is this will block that plus the green screen. So I it's going to take a few years for arborvitae, but I don't think they'll even see, maybe at the very top, I'm not sure those much of this house. That's the goal. So yeah, I should have mentioned that they plan to do that. And I think what they told the Haynes is we'll do a fence or a green screen, whichever you prefer. And my own opinion is it ought to be green screen, and maybe be both, but it ought to be the green screen for sure.
So this inside measurement, am I looking right? It's roughly 24 foot. Is that what you have on the inside? Or 24, 6 or something like that? Is that what it's going to be right now?
Well, it's
Or is that?
It's 2410 long before the little pop outs.
Okay, so that's a pop out.
Yeah, it's 30 foot 10.
Yeah.
But this other way, it's 19
Okay.
from the house out.
Okay.
And actually, I should really qualify that because that's not super usable. In that last 3 feet, we put these are cabinets, fireplace. So the floor area is actually 13, well, it's actually 1610. It's 3 feet here, 1610 of floor area, other than the fireplace part, judging will with 20 inches. So usable, you have about 15 at the heart. So it's not It's not massive.
Yeah.
It's long. We actually probably went a little bit longer than normal. I mentioned the proportion thing earlier, went a little bit longer than normal to try to cheat on dimensions a little bit in length because we couldn't do any more on depth. So at one point we had to even deeper, and we just said, I knew I was going to come before this body, and I thought, let's do everything we can first.
So this is as little as you can make this thing. And you're,
Well, I think it is functional. I mean, you can make it smaller. Frankly, if we lose, we'll probably, I'm not sure what we'll do. I don't think it'll, I don't know, honestly. We don't have a plan B because nothing really makes sense.
yeah.
We'll eclipse the kitchen. The kitchen plays a part a little bit in this. So Jack Schmidt always, the roasters.
Yeah.
Why he did this, I don't know. I knew Jack well. Second cousin of my mom, not that that matters. But of all things, he did this skinny kitchen. And then Kurt was there, and he didn't fix it. And so the house actually sticks out. You can see it's recessed here. We're pushing that kitchen out 2 feet. So I can't even gain how it relates to this room. I can't even gain that for the room because the kitchen needs it. And or deepening and stuff Jack should have done from the beginning.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. So our springboard is the back wall, not this.
Yeah, it's too bad you couldn't slide it and we could just avoid all, not getting variance. As far as, I know they want to fit stuff in it, but, as far as me granting variance for just as far as furniture, I don't think that's a viable reason. But I do, but I have faith in you. I think you guys can make this thing work.
The furniture is a factor, but it is not the reason for the variance. The reason for the variance is the way this house was laid out originally.
Yeah.
And the fact that we got a ravine right here, which, to me, there are physical factors to the house. I've always wondered about that. I've gotten a lot of variances through the years, and I thought, how do you take this physical thing? Because not everybody that needs to do something has a ravine or a 500-year-old oak tree growing in the backyard that's going to change it. Can it not also be the physical area? When they bought this house, and these roofs are put here, the ravine is a factor.
Yeah.
But the fact that the garage sets the house back, it's deep. If this house wasn't set, if it was set at a normal depth, we wouldn't be talking.
Yeah.
But this thing runs off the page. That garage, this house doesn't even start built. And then you got this unusual shape. I don't know.
Yeah, it is unfortunate how it is set up initially.
And it's the shape of the lot.
Yeah. I appreciate all the effort for that. Does anybody else have any questions, Mark? All right. Yeah, that's fine. It's good. Thank you. Appreciate it. With that, do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we grant case number 24-01 as stated in the
Someone second?
Second.
Okay. A roll, please. Spar?
No.
Kelso.
Yes.
Warm.
No.
Bartholomew.
No.
Hambeck.
Yes.
Jones.
yes.
Butterfield, absent. What happens here is a transcript of the meeting has to be provided to the trustee who wasn't present because it's a 3-3 vote. There's no majority, and so we'll have to have a transcript prepared, and a vote will be cast at the next meeting of the zoning board of appeals.
So that'd be next.
And reported back. That'd be next month, the
Yeah.
last Monday of the month. We'll have to have a meeting just to conclude this case at a minimum. So
So he has to wait till next.
that's when it gets reported back, is at
Oh, okay.
the meeting next month.
I apologize for that. We really haven't had a issue where we had a missing member, but
And it doesn't come up that frequently. I'll work with Zach if there's any difference on the timeline from that, we'll let you know. This is a 1 in every 10-year thing, so I'll double check statute and make sure it can't be reported outside of the regular meeting.
okay. All right, the only business I have to say, I just want to get a shout out to Brad Marks, say miss him and hope he does feeling better, gets better. With that, do I hear a motion for adjournment?
I move to adjourn.
I'll stop.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, thank you.